breathe in an hour 960 times a minute. And you may notice that you want to have that compulsion to check 960 times a minute or, thereabouts, because we all have that sense of reliance on our devices. So that's like a really quick way that you can check to see, am I relying on my device?
Are you addicted to your phone under
No.
that definition?
Because of the line of work that I am in, I can very quickly, I have certain tells when I know, I call them the canary in the coal mine, right? I think we talked about this the last time I was here. I can very quickly tell when I'm starting to get that feeling of addiction or compulsion. And so I course correct early. But that's only because I know the science and I course correct.
I'm
so
definitely addicted.
I keep my phone outside. I walk the talk. I keep my phone outside my bedroom. It is not within arm's reach. I grayscale my phone during periods of deep focus during the day when I have a deadline, I have to get things done, and at night, so I avoid revenge bedtime procrastination. But sometimes it happens. Like, I'm a human, so this past week, not to be a real downer, but there have been things that have been in the media the past week that have been really challenging, especially as a woman. And so I have found myself with the primal urge to scroll. My amygdala has been triggered. I have been going down rabbit holes, and I wouldn't ordinarily do that. So I give myself grace, too, and have a sense of self-compassion. Do you feel like you're addicted to your phone?
No, I'm not at all addicted to my phone because I don't have any slot machine apps on it. But I really want to question, you made a distinction that many scientists do, which is, we can't quite say it's addiction because, addiction is certain biochemical pathways based on, heroin and addictive substances. But I believe that this is one of the meta talking points that they are able to push, that we can't call it addiction. It's different.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. And no, look, you and I are total allies on this. We see the problem. All I mean is, we're supposed to be very careful about using the word addiction. Find yourself doing it, and you have withdrawal effects. People have terrible withdrawal effects when they're heavy users of these things and they stop. And so, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck and swims like a duck, I'm going to call it a duck. In fact, that's what they call it. So I just want to read one more quote. Again, the quotes are just so astonishing. Some meta researchers, one of them says, quote, "It seems clear from what's presented here in this internal study that some of our users are addicted to our products." That's their word, addicted to our products. "And I worry that driving sessions incentivizes us to make our products more addictive without providing much more value. How to keep someone returning over and over to the same behavior each day? Intermittent rewards are most effective, think slot machines, reinforcing behaviors that become especially hard to extinguish, even when they provide little reward or cease providing reward at all." People, just imagine an industry that has caused 85% of people to feel that they're addicted.
And not calling it addiction.
And these people are having their lives diminished, their relationships diminished. So I'm trying to convey is we're seeing the destruction of human capital, the destruction of human potential, the destruction of human relationships, the destruction of connection, the destruction of sense of meaning at a scale so vast, I don't think people are capable of comprehending it. I now believe this is affecting most human beings. I don't have good data from the developing world, but certainly the developed world, wherever kids are going through puberty on touchscreens, you have this constant fighting over the screens, over the technology, and you have these diminishing outcomes, diminishing cognition, diminishing sense of purpose in life.
Only to get worse with the AI.
As AI comes in, it's going to get worse. Unless we act soon, we've got to change course in 2026. We don't have 5 years to study it. We've got to stop this now in 2026.
Are you concerned at all about the way education's going for children? Because
oh my God,
it appears that
EdTech is big tech in a sweater, as they say.
Because I was almost imagining a future where my future kids are going to learn their curriculum from an AI chatbot. Because I can imagine the case. Cheaper, more personalized, more convenient. It's going to know if my son's called Timmy, it's going to know Timmy's brain, and it's going to know how to make him pay attention and what he's interested in and what he's not. So are you concerned about this, or is this a good thing?
There is definitely a use case for EdTech. If there could be a device that only did math tutoring or only did tutoring and you couldn't watch videos on it, I'm totally open to believing that can speed up teaching. But here's what's happened. We put computers on everyone's desks around 2014, 2015. We used to think in America that it was an equity issue, even back to the 90s. The rich kids all have computers, the poor kids don't. Let's get philanthropists to buy computers for school districts that every kid can have a computer on their desk. Okay, now what is a computer? It's a play device. It does everything. Kids use it at home. They watch videos. They do all sorts of things. You put it on their desk and you tell them to do math homework. What happens? It's mostly short videos. That's what research is showing. It ends up, because they don't block YouTube. They might say, oh, we block porn, we block video games. They can get around all that. And if you're letting them do YouTube, it's YouTube Shorts, which is TikTok. So what happened to test scores in the United States? From the 70s through 2012, they were rising. We actually were improving what kids knew, what kids learned in the United States. We have very good data. The NAEP, the National Assessment of Educational Progress, goes up till 2012. And then by 2015, it starts going down. And it's going down before COVID. And it goes down more during COVID. And everyone thinks like, oh, it's COVID. But it started, the peak was 2012. And what's happening, what we now can see, is that the top students, the very best students, who are the ones with executive function, they're the ones who can pay attention. If you put a computer on that kid's desk, he's not destroyed by it. He can actually still learn. But the bottom 50% cannot. So all of the drop in educational stats is the bottom 50%. The bottom 50% in terms of capacity to pay attention, their education is being devastated. And that's what happened when we put laptops and we put Chromebooks and iPads on their desks. We spend hundreds of billions of dollars on this stuff. And it has damaged education. And if we'd spent a quarter of that on teachers, we would be in such better shape today. So we made a colossal blunder with ed tech in the 2010s. And now we're about to do the same thing again with AI. Again, maybe there are apps, maybe there are applications that will be great, but we've got to put the burden of proof on Silicon Valley. We've got to say, you guys have to prove that this stuff is effective and safe before we'll let it in. We are not going to let you just say, hey, let's just flood the zone. Let's give it to everybody. And then we'll wait 10 years and see what happens.
I mean, that brings up this this study that I have in front of me here, which was a 2022 study, a Munich study, which tested the idea of brain rot, which I believe was the Oxford Dictionary Word of the Year,
yes.
2024.